will pop up there. Can you hear us okay, Larry? Yes, we can't hear you.
You got mute.
You're on mute.
How about that?
There you go.
Sounds good.
Perfect. Let me just, okay. All right. Go ahead, Dale.
Okay, I guess the meeting that we didn't have on the 12th, we're having today now. So anyway, I guess we'll start with the roll call. And I guess you just go ahead and type it in. I don't know if we ever call out the names, do we?
No, it looks like Carol has been an excused absence and everyone else is here.
Okay. So we have a quorum. So let's go ahead and approve the minutes of the 14th. There's quite a lengthy one, but.
I try every time not to write a novel. And I fail every time.
Well, we gotta have it on there, so.
Yeah.
So are there any corrections or additions to the minutes? If not, I'll entertain the motion to approve the minutes as printed.
Second.
Okay, so all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Okay, minutes approved. So now we'll go into the business at hand we want to discuss tonight. Park Board Support Community Recreation Event. I think, Yvonne, that's something you wanted to talk about?
Sure, just with the activities I'm trying to have together, it would be nice to have support from Parks and Rec where maybe we could put the little logo, is that what you call it, as a logo? on every flyer that goes out. So it doesn't have to be sponsored by the board if it shouldn't be.
But we don't really have a quote Park and Rec.
Usually it's just City of Paloma.
And I think that's part of it is
Yeah.
that we don't have a recreation portion. But
Like to someday, but.
right,
it
and
hasn't happened.
Yvonne is kind of going off and doing some of her own stuff to try to create recreation for the community.
Yeah.
And so what she would like is to be able to have your support to say, supported by the Philomath Park Advisory Board. It's not gonna be where it's our event or it's your event. It's not a city event, but it's more like we're supporting it happening. I think just to get the word out and get it noticed more so that people, when they look at a flyer like that, if it has city on it, Park Advisory Board, people might notice it more, might be more likely to attend.
You got some examples of events you're thinking that?
Yes, well, here's one on our little agenda.
Tonight, isn't it?
No, September.
Oh,
September, nothing's starting till September. Trying to get them all
Okay.
started right.
I just saw the 19th and I went.
That's with the Grange Hall, at the Grange Hall.
Yeah, it's at the Grange Hall, and I have become a member of the Grange, and I'm attending their meetings, and they're excited about having things there. So the Talk Like a Pirate Day is scheduled there. I've got a band coming out from Enchanted Forest. They're an Irish band. They're lots of fun.
Oh, gosh.
And I have to find some money for them. But, yeah, so this is just an example. Sonny, who is the head of the Grange, he's come up with a really cool poster. So we'll have those printed out and everything. But on these on the flyers, would there actually be the City of Philomath logo, or would I just put in supported by Philomath Parks and Rec?
Well, I think if the board supports it, I think we can have you put the logo on there if you'd like to.
By the city.
The
Yes.
city or the Park Advisory Board?
The Park Advisory Board.
Oh,
I
okay.
think, I personally think that it might, people know already that the Park Advisory Board does music in the park and is trained to do activities, so it might, it connects that, the park and the recreation part, even if we don't
What I'm
officially have that.
curious about is if we put our Park Board does and it goes to the Grange Hall, where does the liability come in?
Well, I don't think we're accepting liability for it. It's no different than if someone paid a sponsorship. They're not accepting liability for the event. They're just saying, hey, I'm sponsoring that, I'm supporting it. And I think the word supported is an important distinguishing factor there.
You want that on the posters?
If it says supported by,
Okay,
and
I
then
will
could
do-
have
Parks
I will do
Advisory
that.
Board.
right. right?
And the other things besides Talk Like a Pirate, there will be monthly dances, and we're starting those in September, and they will be at the Grange. And they're covered with the ASCAP BMI licensing, so you can do music in public, so they're all covered with that. And that'll be once a month. I've got a DJ. Now it's just a matter of getting it advertised starting to advertise it at the right time. And the other thing is the workshop acoustic jams. So it'll be part workshop, part jamming. And I've met with the people at the museum, and they were looking into the licensing there because they wanted to have other events there anyway. I haven't been able to have a final answer from them on that, so I'm still waiting. But they did say at the Grange, we could do it there, the acoustic workshops and jams, and they'd be excited to have it there too. So I'm still kind of waiting on that because it would be nice to have it at the museum just for a different venue, and the parking is fantastic.
Could you help me? Acoustic workshop, what is it actually?
So it'd be like 3 hours on a Thursday. It works for them once a month. So the first half hour or 40 minutes would be instructed by me and other musician friends that I've already got support from. And so we teach a couple of songs, talk about a few concepts of playing music with other people, etiquette, things like that. And some musical concepts. And then we'd break probably into sections. The guitars would go together, the fiddles for maybe a half hour. Then we'd come back together and just jam. So, which is where everybody sits in a circle and you go around the circle, one person picks the song and everybody kind of learns it or follows it. So you're learning how to play music with other people, and it will be, I don't know if I should say it would be geared toward beginners, but I definitely want beginners to feel like they can come out and be a part of it and learn how to play music with other people, but also have some seasoned musicians there so they can set an example of, be an inspiration, how to play an instrument well.
So it'll be kind of a class in a way?
Well, I'd call it a workshop slash jam,
Okay.
or workshop jam.
But these are for instrumentalists then?
Pardon me?
For instrumentalists?
Yeah, and I'm calling it acoustic.
Yeah.
Maybe we might have some trumpets show up, I don't know. If it's called acoustic, we probably wouldn't have trumpets show up, but.
I wonder if maybe you already have talked with the music store here in town, that they might be able to work with you guys to get people to.
The music store?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right there next to
Beacon?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
And I hope they let me advertise at the schools. I'll probably go in person because I was a school teacher last year and everybody knows me in the district. And a lot of the kids know me.
Larry might be able to answer that.
Yeah. You know everyone in the schools. I used to.
It's been a while.
Yeah. So those are the events that, if we had the support, we could put the logo on there, and somewhere I would write in there, supported by.
Yeah, and we can look
Parks
at,
and Rec.
if we have your support, we can look at it internally with staff to see what does that look like, what would we want to see on there.
Okay.
But just, I think it's important. You've come on the park advisory board and you're trying to sort of make some recreation here in the community on your own, which is a big endeavor. And so I think it's just kind of about supporting those endeavors. Like we said, eventually it would be great if we had a Parks and Rec district here.
Yeah.
And these were things that were occurring within city functions or park district function. But right now it's kind of a way to maybe help Yvonne get the word out.
It seems like they used to have some music events at the museum years ago. Now and then they'd have something there. They certainly have had lectures and various other things. They like to use that room upstairs.
Yeah, it's a wonderful space, and they were excited about it, and they wanted to bring more things, so they felt like this would be good.
Okay.
But the ASCAP licensing is a problem.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you don't have licensing, you can be charged tens of thousands of dollars fine, which is sad. But they were checking with the city of Corvallis to see if they could get under the umbrella because
I
they
see.
have ASCAP. But it must be a little bit. It's not. It hasn't come through yet. So
Unless you write the music.
If it's, yeah,
There
if
you
it's
go.
your own music and
Yeah.
it's not copyrighted, you can do it, or if it's public domain, really old stuff that doesn't have, you know, Oh Susanna, those kind
Yeah.
of.
You know, we've talked quite a bit about a park and recreation district in our area, but it's gotta go further than just the city limits. Because there's quite a few people in our rural areas that uses our parks.
Mhm.
And if we have the proper recreations, we'll probably use that also. And so we might as well help them pick up the funds out there also, you know, like
Sure.
encompass maybe the fire district or I'm gonna say at least the urban growth boundary.
Mhm.
But that,
Mhm. Yeah,
but,
sure.
you know, then that doesn't pick up anybody out here, so.
Um,
So that.
It is always the question when you're looking at,
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
The designation zone.
So you're saying it would be nice to take activities out to those areas?
Well, I think,
Well,
so,
if we come up with a park and
Right.
recreation where they could have access the same as the people in town.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I mean, have that, they would probably still have access, but they can help pay for it.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You know, people out in the rural areas that come in that have use of it too, they can.
I think the
So
fire
pay-
district is a good
it's,
idea.
it's.
Pay for it, I'm not sure pay for it in what ways.
Bond issue.
Oh, I think what he's
Oh.
talking about is eventually, the city might look at training for a Parks and Rec district, which is a separate organization from the city that would run parks and recreation. And then he's just talking about what population you look to serve when you're doing that. So is it just people in the city limits? Is it people in the area? And the thought is that people in the area come to the community. They might not live in city limits, but they probably come to the community and use the parks and recreation because they're around it. So that's, that might be
It's still a
something
thought
in the
that we
future.
look at in the future, you know.
Because funding it right now is just people paying at the door.
Basically.
Yeah, except for paying for the band. The band is they've asked for between $600 and $800. So I'm gonna
There's some
send
fundraising
give
to do
letters
on
out
that.
to businesses to see if they'll give $50 to $100 to help pay for the band.
Yeah, you know, they, like Albany has their park and recreations, they have that huge band there in the
Mhm.
Motif Park or whatever.
Mhm.
I mean, thousands of people go there.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah.
Corrales, you mean?
I used to go there every
No,
Thursday.
Albany.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Emoji.
They have big names come and perform and
Big,
it's
big
free, yeah.
Mhm.
Free for the people. I don't know if the city
Yeah, it
pays
is
for
free
that.
for the people.
Maybe you could I don't know if it's appropriate to approach the chamber or
Mhm.
just talk to the folks that are there.
I will say
About
that,
the idea.
Lisa, the director of the chamber, she is really good about sharing. You can, if you have something that you would like her to share with the chamber members, she's good about that. And it's also a good resource for flyers. She will put them
Oh, yes.
she has an office at
Right.
Timbertown. And if you send her, she likes them emailed to her. And if you send her an email, I'll give you her email.
Okay,
Then she will distribute them or print them out. It's director@philomathchamber.org.
And I think Albany has a park and recreation, so it's probably picking up the cost of bands.
They do.
PalomaChamber.org.
Yes. Yvonne's a little grassroots at this point, right?
Well, I did contact the Chamber of Commerce and asked if they had a list of the businesses, so I could, because when you look it up online, and if I want to copy and paste it, it's a huge rigmarole, because they all have logos and it's not just a list. So they were wondering if the city had a list of
We
businesses.
don't have city business licensing here, so we don't have that kind of list, but you can check with the county, Benton County. I needed a list, and that's what I was referred to, is to check with Benton County.
You know, you might contact Helen Bennett, because she made a list of all the businesses in town, because the Rotary Club puts out flags on the holidays, and we were soliciting everybody to support the flag program, all the businesses. So, and she has a list of all the names. So she's at Edward Jones.
Oh,
Yeah. Moving into that new building on the corner.
That's
isn't it?
right.
I don't think she's moved yet, but she's getting close.
great.
Okay,
So, I think the big question is, how does everyone feel? Is everyone in support of me looking into with city staff, what the possibilities might be for the city and or park advisory board, putting supported by or something like that on Yvonne's marketing materials.
Absolutely.
I'm good with it.
Are you good with that?
I think the more opportunities,
Mhm.
additional opportunities that we can give the community
Right, and I think that's
is a
the
good
thought.
thing, even during the off season,
Mhm.
Sure.
you know, not
Yeah.
something spread out a little more than just a couple months in the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice if we can keep the people in Philomath spending their money in Philomath,
Right.
Well, that too.
That
rather
too.
than going to other places to do the
Mhm.
spending.
And I'm trying to keep these cheap. Like for Talk Like a Pirate, adults will be $5, children $3. And then I'll sell pizza and pop and cupcakes or whatever they are, trying to make a little money. But now that the Grange actually wants to sponsor the pirate and the dance thing. So that makes it where the money is not an issue,
Mhm.
the money for the hall. So that's really great.
Yeah, that is indeed.
Yeah, 'cause they've done a huge remodel out there on that
Mhm.
facility,
It's a really nice
I love
place.
that.
or makeover, however you want to say it. It still looks nice. Okay, so anything else on that? Okay, so our next line of business, let's go ahead and jump to Veterans Memorial Park first. And we'll go back to the music in the park, okay?
It's a pretty quick update. I have been in communication with a landscape architecture firm that does like the concept plans, make sure everything fits, puts all the things into the park, gives you a visual. And so I'm working on moving ahead with that. We're just trying to determine how we're going to do the construction plans that'll be required for getting the project bid and going out for construction plans. So once I hear an answer on how we're going to be doing that process, then I'm gonna move ahead with trying to get us some visual drawings done. So those will just incorporate what we talked about with Eric, some changes that the city has looked at. And then that company will be working with like Public Works, just to make sure that they know where the water is, where we're gonna be laying things out. They won't be detailed construction plans, but they'll be those nice, you've seen them before, the visual shows a nice visual of where things will be in the park, so.
You know, I have a question. If I think we got some money to do the memorial,
Mhm.
the war memorial.
Yes.
So if we get the money and we get that project done,
Mhm.
can that be used toward another to finish the park? I
That
mean,
money?
No, not that money.
Oh.
Just that we've got this far with this.
Mhm.
Can that be used as, I'm not trying to think of the word that they have a name for it, that says, we did this much work,
Mhm.
now we want to complete the project.
Mhm.
So,
Like in phases,
so can
potentially.
potentially get the money that says, can you help us finish this?
For another grant.
Yes.
It's possible that we could look at the other grants that are available. The most likely grant would be the grant that we are planning to apply for the skate park construction. And you can't have two of the same type of grants at the same time.
Okay.
So that might run us into a little bit of an issue. I do know that there's a lot of support. Eric Knieman has gained a lot of support, donations, people that are ready to volunteer. The project is on good track for having momentum to get started and completed. I just think he's got all kinds of things that we haven't put them down on paper to update the budget on what those might mean for the budget of the project, but there are a lot of resources there. So
Yeah, because a lot of them, I believe, are set up to where they give you so much time to do it, and if you don't have it done in that time, then you lose it.
And that's the issue with the memorial. So we have received funds for the memorial, and we have what is, when you really lay it all out, is a short timeline to get it done. And that's why last time I talked about, we need to pick a memorial. And, I don't know how the board wants to move forward with making a recommendation for that, but somehow we have to pick something because we have the money now and we've got to pick something.
So we were
Yeah.
shown some pictures and some ideas, right?
Yes.
Did we take a consensus of that, or are we gonna?
I don't think we
ask them to-
did. Yeah, Larry had mentioned, wanting to see the scale of the park, which is a little
right.
difficult to see. The issue with that is if I get into this project with the landscape architect firm, that's not gonna be anytime soon, and it will not be soon enough. We're not gonna get those plans soon enough
Okay.
to make a determination. So I think we're really going to have to try to do that outside of that happening. I think we can talk about scale with the artist. We really need a direction to go. Do we want to go the granite direction? I believe that Eric really is in favor with, he's had a lot to do with the project. It's not just him, but he really likes the idea of Bud Thomas
Oh, yeah. He's
doing
local.
the eagle,
Good guy.
the eagle sculpture, and
It's
so
done, it just needs painted.
yeah, he has an idea for one just for this that he wants to
Oh,
build,
okay.
but he would like, I think he said like a year, which really puts us like in,
Crunch time.
it'll be like
Crunch.
everything will be built around it,
Oh.
and we're like putting it on as we're getting to our deadline kind of thing.
Could
So
we do something like put in like, maybe a granite, plan?
Fence or something.
With the writing on it, whatever, and then when he's finished with the eagle, that could be, if he's gonna donate it or whatever.
We could talk to Shane down here about the granite problem.
That's what I think too, down on the highway.
Oh, there you go.
yeah, I mean, that's a possibility if that's something, but there will not be names on this memorial.
Not even, what's his son's name?
But it will say,
The park will be named after Paul,
okay,
and so the park will be named, so there will be signage for
Oh, okay.
that.
Paul Cochran.
But
not on the memorial.
Right.
It will not be on the actual memorial. If someone
I
would like
see.
to have an additional, I think it would be a nice idea to have an additional little like plaque or something that kind of tells something about the park. That might be a nice addition. But the thought was the park is donated for everyone, and so we didn't want it to seem like
Okay.
this is just a memorial for Paul. The park is for Paul, and that is the memorial for Paul, is that
Okay.
this is a park for a place for people to go and gather. And I think that was decided on before I was
Okay.
here. But yes, his name will be, the park will be named
Okay.
Paul
Yeah,
J.
that's
Cochran
what his family
Veterans
was
Memorial Park. Yep.
looking for it to be a
Yes.
veterans memorial.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think next month, we're probably gonna need to come around. I'll do some work between now and then on honing in on what we need to get, because I do think that we're probably going to have to go out for some kind of request for proposals, depending on the dollar amount. I do have a quote from Bud that I believe, I'll have to look at it as far as like the purchasing rules go, but he may need to make adjustments to it. I know the prices of everything are just going up continually, and he did give it to me about 6 months ago, but I can check in with him if that's an option that people think that they would like. And yeah, it'll have he does have a plan for it. So part of it would be, what is Bud's plan? He had a plan for what it would sit on, the structure, and maybe getting a little bit more information about that might be helpful for next month as to what he actually intended. So I will add that to my list.
And is that, the public has weighed in on that, is that right?
I don't know
The public
that
hasn't weighed in on the design of the park itself,
We
the
did,
design of the park, yes.
we did a neighborhood
Not
survey.
the
Yeah,
memorial.
Went out
Right.
and knocked
But not
on
the
doors.
memorial.
Not the
Yeah.
physical
Right.
memorial aspect,
Right.
right? Yeah. Yep. And, if that's something that you want to suggest, that's fine too. We'll have to do some budgetary, that's going to be really part of it. A lot of the memorials, the reason you see them in big cities is that big cities can afford them and smaller cities can't. And the budget that we have, the grant amount that we got is not like, we're not Diamond's budget. So we do have to look at the constraints of that. And any extra additional money that we would spend on that might mean that there can't be other features in the park, I think is part of it. So, it's a balance, but I can look a little bit on costs I'll get a hold of Eric Neiman. He had, I think, 3 examples, and see if he can help me hone in on what he was looking at for those and get some like cost estimates.
Well, I have one question, maybe two, maybe three, we'll see. Who makes the final decision? Does the Park Advisory Board make the final decision, or does the city council? How does that work?
So normally what we would probably do is have a whole plan for the park and it would go to the city council and they would say, yes, let's go with this. Because of the grant funding for this, we'll probably do that in sections where we'll kind of take them, here's the preliminary design. This is what, we're working on getting, designed. Here's the memorial that the Park Advisory Board is, suggesting, and that would really be based off, Eric Neiman has had contact with the veterans groups and has gathered input from them. So he is gathering input from that community when he's making these recommendations. So if we need him to come back and just be very specifically talking about the memorial itself, I can see if he thinks he has more information that would be valuable. But yeah, I think we should just plan to talk about it next month and see if we can get a good direction on where we think we're going to go and then figure out the next steps. But the council will likely want to weigh in on it as a final approval.
Well, they are, because we're actually an
Advisory.
board
Yes.
to the city council. We
Yes.
don't make the final decision.
Right.
And one other thing that you mentioned, the landscape architect, did he or she or they look at the piece of property and like the tree? I keep going back to that tree because I looked at it the other day and it's in need of some TLC if we're going to keep it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it has to almost go. It looks to me like it's pretty much dead.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
It's a danger, I think, if it's a park,
What
and
kind of tree
that
is
big
it?
tree there.
Yeah, I will see if our public works
Big
can
one.
have our arborist look at it between now and the next meeting.
Yeah, because he lives right by it.
Yeah, he does. The problem with it is that it to the family, it's a very significant tree and they've donated this property. So that's the issue. Of course, if it is a tree that can't be saved, that might be a different story, but we would really have to be justified to not keep it in the park. It has a significance with some letters that Paul, like his final letters that he had sent to his family, and so it is the tree specifically is an important tree to the family.
I
Yeah.
understand that.
So, but yes, I will have our arborist look at that and see if we can get kind of a report back on it. Good point.
Okay,
And actually, I talked the other day to Lige
Mhm.
about that tree.
Mhm.
And he said that it maybe had 20 years life left. So, I mean, the reason I brought up the last meeting was that, if you want to do this memorial thing, maybe we start with some kind of a heritage tree that's going to be there for a long time.
Mhm.
But if it's that important to the family, we have to weigh that.
Right. Well, and I think we could, Eric has a good relationship with the family and we could have a discussion. If it looks like you're designing the park around that tree being there that may not be there as long-term as we want the park and the memorial to be there, is that something that would be okay with? If we could, even if it's the same type of tree, that we could plant somewhere
Right.
in and plan around that tree in a, that's an option. And I will also add that to my list to talk to him about. He could get a better feel, I think, from the family for that.
okay, anything else on the memorial for tonight? If not, we'll move into the 3.2, the music in the park, 2022 planning. What's your?
Yeah, so my plan here is that we just have a little brainstorm session. Several of you have done, most of you have done music in the park before. As you know, I am new to it. So what I would like to know is anything that you can think of that we're gonna need to get ready for that first concert. What do we need to do? And then just kind of decide who's gonna help with what, if anyone has any specific dates that they are saying, yes, I'm going to be able to attend that, or no way I can't, or I can't attend any of them. It would just be good to know that now, so we can try to plan for it a little bit. But Dale or Lindy, you have information to share about kind of how it's gone in previous years? I think would
Well,
be good.
one of the questions that the band sometimes has is what kind of equipment is there? And I don't know a whole lot about this sort of thing, but the audio equipment. Sometimes the band will bring it, but I don't know if they will in every case.
And we have access to a good enough one that we've used before from the
Okay.
fire department.
Oh, okay.
And are they okay if we use it? Like, do we usually tell them we need it, all the dates? How does that usually work?
Well,
I think
Depends
Chris
on the
Ford
we
band.
can
does.
have it there, because I'm sure that the chief would let us have it any day we want it, so.
Okay.
Last
So,
year, Chris helped coordinate that, and he brought it
Yes.
for the one band that needed it.
Mm.
I did
Okay.
get feedback from that band that it wasn't the greatest equipment. They were
Sure.
appreciative that it was available to them,
Right.
but if there's any money floating around, it's great to improve that system.
Yeah,
Also,
Okay.
some bands have their own sound
Yes.
person
right.
Right.
and some don't. So if we're providing the sound, will they have the sound person is
I think
something
we
to
only
ask
had one
them.
band that requested a sound system.
Okay.
Last year.
So it
I
might
mean,
be
this year.
valuable to.
This year's band, I think.
We did have one, and then they ended up not being able
Oh,
to do
okay.
that. I'm assuming that people have that situated, but it might be worth me sending an email out to the bands, just kind of having that conversation. That,
Yeah.
Do they need someone to run the sound if they don't have the sound, if we're providing the sound?
Right.
I don't believe we've ever, the board has not been involved with that
Okay.
because we're not musicians.
Right. And that's fine.
You
If-
could open up a
but,
can of
It's okay
worms.
to say that it was
Yeah.
Chris. We're just so busy, we don't always connect on these things. So if it is, I will check in with them on these things.
And we talked about having banners or something other than what we've used in the past?
Yes, so the banners just got made.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to get them picked up tomorrow. There'll be one by the reader board, and then there'll be
Oh,
one in the
yes.
park as well.
And who put them up before? I mean.
Tom and I
was
put them
never
up,
involved.
they were on the board before they did.
Yeah,
that,
these are banners, so Public Works
'cause
will stake them in. So
Oh.
they're like a banner that you
Yeah.
can see, but they're gonna stake it in the ground.
Mhm.
Because the stakes that we used before are still there.
Oh, great.
They're posts. the
Yeah,
steel
so
posts.
they said that they would figure that out. I asked them if they were
Okay.
okay with having that type of a banner.
They'll put them
Um,
both up then?
Yeah, so
Okay.
they'll put that up, and then I will try to help them find a good spot at the park too.
At City Park and Dale Collins Park.
Yeah, so the one for Dale Collins Park is just a singular banner. I think it's like 4x6, and it has our primary sponsor, Pioneers, on that banner. The other banner doesn't have any sponsors on it, and then at the bottom, there's a separate little banner that has our sponsors on it. So the thought is, we hope Pioneer will continue to support us, and that if some of the other sponsors change year to year, we would only have to
Oh,
replace the smaller banner
Mhm.
and be able to reuse everything
Okay.
else, so.
I think the Pioneer Connect committed $1,000, wasn't it, to this?
I think they did.
I think they
You know the
committed
banners that they sometimes put up over the road?
Yeah,
Mhm.
street banner.
Yeah.
$1,000. Well, we can't, because state highway won't let
Yeah.
us.
The state highway
Let
won't.
us know.
But
Yeah.
the way I understand this, the project is done, the state's gonna give us back that authority. So
Oh,
there's a
cool.
So we'll be
possibility.
able to use them again?
That would be great,
Yeah,
and you could just put every,
Yeah, 'cause they
all the
won't-
bands on there, the
That'll be up
dates.
to the city to tell us what for Canada.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, so ODOT won't mind then, because I know at the moment they won't let anybody.
No,
go
they
down
won't, they won't.
That way people passing through can see.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
Like Gary told me, if Public Works even wants to do something, they have to give them 2 weeks notice.
Mhm.
You know, that they're gonna do this, and it's authority, people exercising their authority, you know.
Who does the
So-
banner? Who are you doing the banners through?
Here, the guy.
Creative Graphics.
They're down in the shopping center.
Mhm.
I was going by the park today, I mean, I just basically drove by there. And it seemed like there was a machine in there doing something. Are they working on the bathrooms there?
They're gonna tear them down.
Yeah, they're gonna be replaced, the bathrooms in the front
Mhm.
there.
And
So-
so what stage will that be when our first concert is being held on the 29th of June?
Well, the new bathrooms are not coming until September, but they're starting some prep work.
Mhm.
So Yeah, we'll have to keep in touch
Oh,
about
wow.
that and kind of keep
We wanna have
Well, we'll
communication
have to have
open.
porta potties or
Yeah.
something.
We may,
Yeah.
you know, it may have to be something that we
Yeah.
look at some point, but yeah, we're keeping the
Well, there's
conversation
one over
open with
just across the creek too.
Public Works. There's a second set of restrooms there.
The second shelter, you gotta walk.
Right,
Yeah,
You have
but,
to walk
you
to
know,
it.
if you've got little kids or something.
Right.
yeah, we'll have to
Or old
see. I don't know that the bathrooms will be decommissioned. I don't know if they won't, but I'm not sure that the length of time they'd be decommissioned. I just know they're doing a lot of prep work. There's some, you know, they've got to run some electrical stuff.
Mhm.
If
It's an
so, would
old
porta
building.
potties be an option?
I don't know that they would or
That's-
wouldn't. I'd have
that's
to
an
look into
expense,
it.
you know.
They are.
Yeah, it's
Sure,
an expense.
right.
and-
I know that the restroom that's there, I wouldn't use it myself today. I mean, it's an old one that's got the smell, it's old.
I think we would have to have porta potties, that's my feeling, at least two.
Well, I'll put
That's
it
my
on as
feeling
a,
anyway.
yeah,
It's just,
I'll get an update on how,
just people.
if
need
that's
that.
actually gonna be closed down at all for any of our
Mhm.
concerts.
And will there be trenches and things like that that people might fall in or whatever, you know? Or will there be like a fence around the construction area or something?
Well, yeah, they would,
That
they
wouldn't
won't
be a
leave open
problem, yeah.
ditches or anything,
Because
yeah.
people bring their little kids and then they don't always watch them, so.
Yeah. Yeah, if they have a construction zone, that'll be fenced off.
But you know, the Frolic gets a lot of porta potties. And Chris might be able to pull some strings there and get a little better rate.
Okay.
He's a pretty smooth talker, you know.
Well, he's the big frolic man. too.
My daughter gets one for, I think it's $90 a month.
Yeah, they're not, I used to order them for our parks, at my
too
old
bad.
job, so we had several parks that just had them all year round because we didn't have restroom facilities there, so. Okay, so I would like to know who is planning on being at the first concert?
As far as I know, I am.
I mean, obviously, things can come up, but,
I will probably make all of the
That's a Sunday
Thursdays,
afternoon.
Okay.
but the Sundays will be iffy on whether I can.
okay,
That's a
And
long.
I can be at the first 4, but I can't be at the last 3.
okay.
Okay, so the first 4 would be, you mean like May 19th, May 29th?
29th,
May
19th,
16th,
20th, 21st.
That'd be the June 26th.
No July and August,
Or
or the end of July and August.
What was I can't, let me look at my calendar.
Okay,
Yeah, I'll have to do that too, but I think I'm open.
So it's May 29th, I could be there. And then June, or it's the 16th and the 26th of June. And then I think it's the 21st of July.
okay,
I could be at those. Yeah, July 21st, but I can't be at the July 31st or either one of the ones in August.
okay. We are this year, I think I told you that we had a discussion with our new finance director, and I have been talking to the Philomath Performing Arts Benefit Fund people that we're gonna go for the QR code donation route this year, not cash.
What does that mean? I don't
So
understand what that is.
they will either have, here's the website you can look up, and
Right.
we'll kind of try to promote that.
The flyers or
as well.
something, you think?
Flyers.
On the
that-
flyers, they're not on this current flyer because I was waiting to get information from them, but anything I update, I will be updating.
Okay.
We'll put that on there, and then at the event, we can still have the big thing.
I was gonna say, we need that option because I really think we get more.
Yeah.
Well,
we
we really
we
can't,
collect more
yeah, we
if
can't
it's
we
on
can't
the
collect
spot.
cash unless they're willing to come pick up their cash is the thing. And so I've talked to them about whether that'll be an option or not for them. And there may be some of them that they can come do that too, some of them they can't. They're still trying to work that out within their own, organization, but it causes it's a problem for the city to be holding cash for
Oh,
another organization.
I see what you're
So,
saying. I didn't
that's,
understand that.
right, so
Well, because
it's,
I thought we had it set up with,
I think
a
the
group
school-
to put it in,
Just take them.
don't put it in the, that fund they have down there. Help me, Larry, what's that?
for the high school.
The fund that, Neil.
Was it a performing arts fund or something?
Yeah, we got that goes into that fund, And I think it was backed pretty much by Kay McGee.
Oh,
That we was giving Kay and she was putting the money in that fund, to where the school can go to that fund to get.
Right. And that's what's still happening.
You know,
We're still working with them. They're still the beneficiaries of the funding. The issue is the city or volunteers of the city taking the cash. That's where the problem is. Lots of rules have changed over the years, and it's just, it's not a great idea for, our financial people would rather we not do that. And then our financial people here had a process of holding that money, and it's just not preferred. But I've already talked to them about it, and they're fully on board with it. They said they love the QR code. They use that all the time. They've already had
We can
one.
have that available for sure.
Yeah, so they're in support of it. It's just gonna be a little bit of us trying to do messaging, and part of it, just spreading the word. We can make the little flyers that we put around town that can help spread the word for people to do it all of the time, not just at Music in the Park. When we advertise our things, we can have the little code on there for people, so.
in other words, people will be donating online, is that?
Yeah.
So, and that's how they accept their donations, generally. They accept their donations online, that's how they.
Go online or scan it with their phone.
Yeah, so people
And
can
do it that
scan,
way.
if they want to, they can
Put
scan
it
it
in
with
the
their
little
phone.
square and all.
Yeah, yeah, oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Take a picture.
Could we get like a poster made of like a big one of that QR code, so we have like a visual, and then people
Sure.
can kind of snap that with their phones?
That may be possible,
I
yeah.
don't know, creative graphic.
From,
make,
just to
like-
kind of put it up,
Yeah.
up at the
So I'm
event, so
thinking,
it's
or
really
even like a
obvious.
sandwich board, like shoot, I'll put a sandwich
Right.
board on and
So
like
then
walk
you
around,
just
and be like,
bottle
scan
it
me.
with-
I guess it might not be a bad idea to have it up during the
Right,
whole
yeah.
thing.
That's what I'm thinking.
Because
Yes,
people might, like on a Tuesday, say, oh, I think I'll
True.
donate.
right, so let me look into that. I mean, we
Yeah.
definitely want to try to get the word out, and it actually might get the word out more this way,
Right.
because
Yeah.
we would be putting out more
Yeah,
materials.
because I think
so.
people are used to seeing the blue jug, and if
They
we
are,
don't have
but,
that,
and that's
making
kind of
that
what I was
connection
saying. I
is a new
think
way.
bringing the jug might be, it's just gonna be training
Mhm.
that, hey, if you come again, this is what to expect. And also just promoting them. If they have a way that they can take cash themselves, and I can ask them if they have a way that they do that,
Plus, it's fun for us.
promoting them. And you can walk around with the
Trying
jug.
to
It's
get
just
the
gonna
money.
be like,
No, we get to take it out. That's the fun part.
That jug is
Can't get the wheels out of the neck of that thing.
because they need to have someone from their organization come take the cash.
Who's they?
The Performing Arts
Oh.
Fund.
And they can't commit to
They have
being
a
at every
board,
event. is
And they
what you're
may,
saying, right?
they're trained to decide if they are going
Okay.
to be able to do
Oh.
that. We don't know for sure that they're not going to be able to. If they are able to, then we can take cash.
Okay.
They'll come at the end,
Oh.
they'll take their cash, whisk it away, put it in their account.
So the city won't be bothered.
So
with
what
that.
happens
Right.
if we don't do that? Do we just do what we please like we have been?
Well, I don't know where the money would go, because it can't come here and be held here how it was
Oh,
held
okay,
here.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think that's the issue, is that our
Liability.
finance department
Yeah.
has
They
a
don't want us holding money.
that there's,
It
right.
it could
it's a
be
liability
taken
thing.
to one of the members on the board, though.
That's possible if someone
Yeah.
wants to say, let's collect the cash, but again, then you have
It
one of our
seems-
volunteers who's leaving with cash on their own. It's a liability thing.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
it's really just to protect anyone else, is really what it's about. I don't do a whole lot of this fundraising. I have had things like this. I was on a school fundraising committee, and we had very strict rules about, like, when we had our garage sale, a board member had to come and be at the end of the garage sale. We were not allowed to like leave with any of
Be
the money.
responsible for it.
Yeah, it's a responsibility thing. So
Yeah.
anyway, I'm in communication with them. They haven't said that it bothers them at all, and they're just kind of looking into, would they be able to have some people, like someone stop by? They wouldn't have to be at the event the whole time. They could just come at the end and collect it. So we're working
I
on.
was on that board. when I was-
Okay, okay. So we're just working on what can we do to make it happen? And so it may be that there's still cash, or some of them, we may still be able to do cash. It just is, we're just trying to work together with them to find out the best way to get the word out for them. Yeah.
I know that I won't be able to make the 29th, May 29th, and I won't be able to make the June 26th. But I should be able to attend all the other ones.
Well, I don't know, as far as attending, if we have one or two, but there's someone that can announce the band.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. And I don't know that everyone has to attend. I'm just, kind of getting a feel for who is available.
It's nice to have with our shirts on,
Uh-huh,
We are
sure.
part
And you all
of the
still
board.
have your shirts. Yvonne doesn't.
I have a shirt, yeah.
I will, I have shirts, I just need to see if I have one that's a size that works for
We can
you.
have a cheat sheet of all the sponsors. I think that's one thing Dale and I struggled with last
Yes.
year is remembering, like, we want to thank everyone, but
Yes.
there's,
You're
if
right.
there's a long list, we're like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, this
Yeah.
person.
Okay.
So Dale, if you're not available, is it just up to one of the rest of the group here
We'll draw
to
straws.
take your place?
I just did it because nobody else would. I just said
So you got up there, you got up the stage.
That's true.
He started dragging me up there.
Yeah, come on, I'll teach you.
Let's go.
Yeah, I'm sure between all of
Okay.
us and, I'm sure that Chris will still be, I don't know if he'll go to all of them. It's been, a lot for him too, but I'm sure between all of us, we can figure it out. We'll just touch bases like the week
Okay.
of the concert and kind of see what everyone's planning on. So it sounds like the sound system is something that we need to be figuring out how that's gonna get there. And then I'm gonna reach out to the bands and just talk expectations for sound, because I'll let them know we have maybe a less than par system. We don't have anyone really to operate it. And other than that, you're on your own. Just to make sure ahead of time that that's not gonna cause an issue.
I'll pick it up, that's no.
Oh, great. Dale volunteered. Write that down. Okay, so does anyone have anything else that you think we need to think about ahead of the concert?
I'm just thinking of the process of the ones that we've been to before. And generally speaking, other than what we've spoken about, there's not a whole lot for the board to be responsible for there, except for Dale and his group.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't provide seating or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Debbie at Lions, she takes care of all the
Yeah, I talked to her.
concession.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah,
happening
that's
on
the
a
Lions
Thursday?
Club.
Yeah, and they'll be doing that Thursday.
Every Thursday?
Yeah.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
Lions Club and the,
There's
I think Sunday's gonna be pizza.
We'll
the
try.
Lions
We
Club?
haven't gotten,
No.
Oh.
we haven't gotten a confirmation from, last time I talked to
but-
her. I talked to her.
She
Marie,
told, she
when
told me that they would probably do it if I would keep the fire going in the
Yeah.
burner.
Oh,
Yeah, they said he needs to put all the wood in. Anyway, she was trying to come up with
She's
dates.
my neighbor across
Yeah.
the street.
Oh.
So bug her again, because I did put
Yeah,
her
well.
on the flyer as,
Oh,
keep an eye out for the
You know what,
pop-ups.
I'll take this too and I'll tell her,
Yeah, look,
You're
your name
committed.
is on there.
you are committed.
Yeah, her name's on there. I
Yeah.
told her I was putting it on there. So, yeah, and then the library also has 2 dates that they said they'd come do, family activities, which are also on the
okay,
flyer.
okay.
So that's exciting.
So
Hopefully
Dale,
that'll
you'll
get
talk to
people.
Mud Oven Pizza?
Yes.
Okay.
She lives just across the street from us.
Oh, perfect.
So we talked about having people coming, vendors coming with their, whatever they bring. Are there any guidelines for them as to where they should be?
Where they should
or-
set up.
Or time
Well,
that they
basically,
should be
we've
there?
set it up to not, have people coming in, it's doing food because we've got,
Mhm.
Yeah,
that's-
right,
that,
right.
the Lions Club's not
True.
making
Yeah.
any money, they're doing
Yeah,
it for
true.
So we kind of put arts and crafts, and then
Arts
a
and
couple,
crafts.
arts and crafts.
couple of the
yes.
community organizations have asked too if they
Yes.
could come in. We said, yeah, great,
Mhm.
get the word out.
And I think it worked just fine last year.
Okay.
It was
Yeah.
great.
Good. Okay.
So who tells them where they should be? I mean, is it one of us or, I don't know
Don't they
how they
apply?
set that up before.
It hasn't been an application process in the past, is my understanding. They kind of just
That's
Come
right.
in and set up.
come
We
in
haven't
and
had
set
a lot
up.
of sessions with people like that
Mhm.
there.
We've only
So-
had 2 or 3.
I will,
Well, people are emailing Chris last year.
and they may be emailing him.
Maybe there
and-
should be some sort of a simple
Yeah, simple
application
application. We
that
did
explains
talk
what they're
about,
doing
Mhm.
and you can tell them at that time where to be.
Make
Would
sure it's
be good,
appropriate for the
probably.
event.
yeah, let me look at that a little bit more.
Yes.
Okay,
And did you communicate with Matt, my neighbor who does sound?
I did,
He was going to, he does it for a living, so
right,
he wanted to charge.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. I thanked him very much for, coming forward. And I think it's a good thing to have. in
For
our
means in the park
pocket.
events?
Yeah, so the band that had asked about,
Sound
we don't have any sound system. I was trying to find options, and Yvonne has a neighbor who does sound, so we had kind of talked to him about that, and then that band pulled out, so, yeah.
Will we have Brad, what's his name, from Fuqua, from the newspaper?
I
do
hope he'll be
some-
there. He usually
Yeah.
stays up on all of our, I think he gets our city newsletter. He
Mhm.
stays up
Okay.
and shows up at a lot of events, so. Yeah. Yeah, so any
Actually, I
other,
learned the proper way to say his name.
Yeah, Brad was there.
Farquhar.
Could we reach out to him about maybe doing an article?
yeah, I think he's
Yeah,
done
he
them in the
will.
past, yeah.
Yeah, because he's
He was
interviewed,
at the first one. I
he's
guess.
interviewed me.
He kind of does everything in Philomath.
Yeah, he does.
Okay. I didn't know if we wanted to reach out to him to make sure that happens like at the first event so that people can see it for the whole summer.
Well, and it might get, we'll get people, like, get the word out.
Sure.
Okay.
Anything else we need to cover tonight?
Any other concerns or questions about music in the park? Before we, okay. So mostly, it sounds like Dale runs the show at Music in the Park. We'll all be there as
He
support.
does all the speaking.
He makes the food.
But I'm
he does
ready
the
to pass the
speaking.
baton.
Yeah, you do. The rest of us will just be
Hey,
there to
Larry.
enjoy the music.
You hear that? You're the next up.
Larry can speak, Rose can speak.
Yeah,
I
we'll
know
take
Rose.
turns.
Hi, Rose.
Yeah.
Anyone who likes.
Larry's not
speaking
shy,
can
Larry's
say
not shy,
volunteer
like I am.
speaking.
As long as I have my cheat sheet, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so we'll
Yeah.
definitely write those down, jot
Yeah.
those down for you, maybe with just a little
Perfect.
thing you could say.
Yeah,
Or
that'd
if
be great.
anyone else wants to volunteer to
My
do that,
memory's so
that's
bad,
fine
I
too.
probably wouldn't remember the name of the band that I'm introducing.
Right.
Well, maybe
That's-
like the
that's not too
schedule
bad
and then
too.
the sponsors.
Yeah, right?
If you laminated it, then we could reuse it for every
Yeah.
event.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
Good idea.
Okay, my next item on this agenda is number 5 that says adjournment.
Okay.
Okay, adjourned.
That's what I thought. I don't see any other item on it.
I have a question before you adjourn. So are our meetings the second Thursdays?
Yes.
Yes,
All right. I just want to make sure I got it on my calendar. And I also want to remind people of the Ivy poll on Saturday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sandy's got that, and
Okay.
Libby
Oh,
signed
yeah.
up.
Ivy and, they're gonna cut some blackberry, I guess. There's a lot of poison oak this year,
Yeah,
but not right in the park, thank goodness.
that's good.
It's like around the park.
I have a legitimate reason I will not be.
Yeah, he can't. I'm glad you're there, Sandy, but you can point out, like, to Michael.
Did you see the dolphins swimming there?
Mhm.
They are every.
Okay, the meeting is
Adjourned.
adjourned, guys.
Okay.
Yeah. And then
I
there's-
Hi,
think,
Larry.
pretty sure last year or even a couple years in a row, there have been some folks